It's 11 p.m. The dishes are done, the door is locked, nothing is actually wrong right now, and your chest still feels like it's bracing for a hit that never comes. You lie down and your body doesn't get the memo that the day is over. Your jaw is tight. Your leg won't stop bouncing under the blanket. Your mind starts replaying a conversation from 9 hours ago, editing what you should have said, like the threat is still live. This isn't overthinking. This isn't just anxiety. This is your nervous system, stuck in a state it was never supposed to hold this long. Maybe it's not nighttime for you. Maybe it's the second your phone buzzes and your stomach drops before you've even read the notification. Maybe it's snapping at someone you love over something so small it embarrasses you 5 minutes later, and you don't even know where that sharpness came from. You tell yourself to calm down. You take a breath, you remind yourself, logically, that you're safe. And your body just doesn't listen. There's no lion in the room and no deadline in this exact second, just a body that refuses to stand down. That gap between knowing you're safe and actually feeling safe is the whole video. Hello, I am Bub, and welcome to my channel, Hidden Signals, where I decode what you feel but can't explain. This channel is for the emotions people hide, the behaviors nobody talks about, and the psychological patterns silently controlling our lives. If you've ever felt something deeply but never had the words for it, you're probably in the right place. And if these videos genuinely make you feel understood, subscribe and stay for the next signal. Okay, let's actually get into why your body does this. There's a concept called neuroception, coined by a researcher named Stephen Porges, as part of what's known as Polyvagal theory. Neuroception is your nervous system's built-in surveillance system, and the important part is that it runs completely underneath your conscious awareness. It's not asking, "Am I safe?" It's scanning tone of voice, facial expressions, posture, even the pitch of a text notification, and deciding in milliseconds whether you're in danger. You don't get a vote. Here's why that matters. Your autonomic nervous system runs on a few main settings. There's the calm, connected state, where your heart rate is steady, your face is soft, and you can actually listen to someone without your body screaming at you to leave. Then there's the sympathetic state, fight or flight, heart racing, muscles tight, scanning for the exit. And there's a third one people forget, the shutdown state, sometimes called dorsal vagal, where instead of speeding up, you go numb, foggy, tired for no reason, unable to feel much of anything at all. Dysregulation just means your neuroception keeps clocking danger that isn't actually there anymore, so your body keeps flipping into fight, flight, or shutdown long after the thing that trained it to do that is gone. There's a second piece that explains why this feels so unmanageable, and it's called the window of tolerance, a term from psychiatrist Dan Siegel. Think of it as the band of arousal where you can actually function, think clearly, and handle whatever's happening without falling apart or shutting down. When you're dysregulated, that window shrinks. Things that used to be minor annoyances, a slow reply, a raised eyebrow, a change of plans, now push you straight out of it into fight, flight, or freeze because there's so little room left to absorb anything. And here's the part that actually makes sense of it all. None of this is a design flaw. Your nervous system would rather falsely accuse 100 safe situations of being dangerous than miss one real threat. That trade-off kept your ancestors alive. It just wasn't built for a world of notifications, deadlines, and group chats that never stop pinging. And this is where it gets specific, because dysregulation doesn't look the same on everyone. For some people, it shows up as hypervigilance, the version we started with. Jaw clenched, jumpy at loud noises, replaying conversations for hidden threats, unable to relax even on vacation because relaxing itself feels somehow unsafe. For other people, it shows up as the opposite, not wired, wiped. You cancel plans not because you're lazy, but because your nervous system quietly pulled the plug to protect you from more input. That flatness, that I should care about this, but I just don't have it in me. Feeling is often shutdown, not laziness. It's a nervous system that ran out of runway for fight or flight and dropped into freeze instead. And there's a third pattern, less talked about, the fawn response. Over apologizing for things that aren't your fault, scanning a room for whose mood needs managing before you've even registered your own, agreeing to things you don't want instantly with a smile that doesn't match what's happening underneath, because your body learned somewhere that keeping the peace was the fastest route back to safety. If you recognized yourself in any of those three, hypervigilant, shut down, or fawning, that's not a character flaw you need to sit with in shame. It's information. Your body is telling you exactly what it learned to do to survive something. The problem isn't that it learned it. The problem is that it never got the update. Picture a kid, let's call her Sarah, growing up in a house where she genuinely never knew which parent was coming home, the calm one or the one that slammed the door hard enough to shake the pictures on the wall. Sarah's nervous system didn't have the luxury of assuming safety. It had to predict danger before it happened, every single day, just to buy a few extra seconds to prepare. That skill kept her safe at 8 years old. At 28, sitting in a completely calm relationship, that same skill is still scanning her partner's tone for danger that isn't coming. Her body never got the memo that the war is over. That's not a flaw in Sarah. That's a smoke detector that got calibrated in a house that used to catch fire, still going off in a kitchen that's just making toast. But you don't need a chaotic childhood to end up here. This is the part people underestimate. If you've spent years answering work messages at 10 p.m., treating exhaustion as a badge of honor, and never actually letting your body register that a task is finished before the next one starts, your neuroception learns a version of the same lesson. It learns that stand down is dangerous because stand down has never actually been followed by real rest. So it just stops offering you the option. Low-grade, chronic, socially acceptable stress does the same thing to your baseline that a genuinely unsafe childhood does. It just takes longer, and it's easier to miss because nobody around you names it as harm. They call it being driven. So here's what actually helps, and I want to be specific here, because just relax is useless advice for a nervous system that doesn't take orders from logic. The technique is called the physiological sigh, and it comes out of respiratory research that was popularized more recently by a Stanford study directly comparing it to meditation and box breathing. Here's exactly how you do it and exactly when. The trigger is this. The moment you notice the physical signal, jaw clenched, shoulders up by your ears, that hot tightness in your chest right before you're about to snap at someone, or that wired but exhausted feeling at 11 p.m., that's your cue. Don't wait until you feel calm enough to try it. That's backwards. You do this specifically because you're not calm. Step 1, inhale through your nose until your lungs feel full. Step 2, without exhaling, take a second, sharper sip of air on top of that first breath, a short, extra inhale through the nose. That second sip reinflates the tiny air sacs in your lungs that collapse under stress, which is the part most breathing techniques skip entirely. Step 3, exhale slowly through your mouth, longer than both inhales combined, like you're gently fogging up a mirror. Step 4, repeat this for 3 to 5 full cycles. Here's why it actually works, and it's not psychological, it's mechanical. That extended exhale directly stimulates your vagus nerve, the physical wiring connecting your brain to your heart and lungs. Stimulating it slows your heart rate and shifts your carbon dioxide levels in a way that tells your neuroception, in a language your body trusts more than words, that the danger has passed. You're not thinking your way to calm, you're pulling the one lever your body actually responds to. Do this before the argument, not just after it. Do it before the meeting, sitting in your car, not once you're already spiraling. The earlier in the trigger you catch it, the faster your body comes back online.
The Stanford researchers who studied this had people do 5 minutes of it daily and tracked their mood and resting breathing rate over a month, comparing it against mindfulness meditation and box breathing. Cyclic sighing came out ahead on both measures, and it worked faster, specifically because it's not asking your mind to do the work of calming your body. It's going straight to the body first and letting the mind catch up after, which is the actual order your nervous system operates in. You were never going to think your way into safety. You were always going to have to breathe your way there first. One more thing worth saying here. This won't feel like much the first time you try it. Regulation isn't a single dramatic breakthrough. It's closer to strength training. One sigh doesn't rebuild a nervous system that's been on alert for 15 years, the same way one gym session doesn't build a muscle. But every single time you do this, at the actual moment your body flags danger and nothing bad happens afterward, you're laying down a tiny bit of new evidence. Evidence your neuroception collects whether you consciously notice it or not. Do it enough times in enough real triggering moments, and the baseline itself starts to shift. Here's the thing I want you to sit with. Your nervous system isn't broken, it's not too sensitive, and there's nothing wrong with you as a person. It's a system that learned, somewhere along the way, that staying alert was the price of staying safe. It did exactly what it was built to do. But it's allowed to learn something new now. Slowly, a few breaths at a time in the exact moments it flares. That smoke detector can be recalibrated, not by arguing with it, but by giving your body actual physical proof, over and over, that the fire's out. If this is the first time someone's actually explained why your body won't calm down, instead of just telling you to calm down, hit like and subscribe. Next time, I'm going deeper into the freeze response, the one that looks like laziness from the outside and feels like nothing at all on the inside. I think you'll recognize yourself in that one too.